Welcome to Speak English Podcast with Rory and Alex.
I want you to picture a scenario. And it's a scenario I think every single person listening has lived through at least once.
Oh, yeah.
You're in a meeting. The stakes are pretty high. You've done the research. You've crunched the numbers. And you honestly believe, you know for a fact, you are the most informed person in that room on this one topic. You wait for your moment. You open your mouth. You lay out this brilliant idea, and it just lands with a thud.
It's the sound of indifference, isn't it? People check their phones, someone interrupts you to ask about, I don't know, lunch.
Oh, that's the worst.
Or, and this is the absolute worst one, 5 minutes later, someone else says the exact same thing you just said.
Yes.
Maybe just a little bit louder. And everyone in the room nods enthusiastically like they just discovered fire.
It is maddening. And usually, when that happens, we blame the room. We think, oh, they just don't get it, or it's office politics.
Right. They don't value my expertise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But today, we're doing a deep dive into some pretty uncomfortable territory. We're looking at some source material from Speak English with Rory that explores this concept of speaking traps. And the whole premise is, what if the problem isn't the room? What if the problem is us?
It's a tough pill to swallow. It really is. But it's also liberating. This material identifies these specific, almost invisible habits, what they call traps, that make really intelligent, capable people look insecure.
Or incompetent.
And what's so fascinating is that these traps have almost nothing to do with your actual intelligence. You can be a genius and still fall into every single one.
And that really is the mission for this deep dive, right? We're not trying to change who you are or what you know. We're trying to close that gap between your actual expertise and how it's perceived.
Exactly. We want to make these invisible habits visible.
So you can stop doing them.
Right. And to understand why this happens, why do smart people sabotage themselves? We have to look at the why. If you think about it, there's this fundamental disconnect in how we're raised and educated.
You mean in school?
Yeah, think about school. Kindergarten all the way through university. How were you graded?
It was all about the output, the test scores. Did I circle the right bubble on the test?
Precisely. You were rewarded solely for what you knew. If you wrote the correct answer, you got an A. It didn't matter if you wrote it with a shaky hand or if you were the most boring student in the class.
The content was king.
Content was king. And this creates this really deeply ingrained belief, especially in high performers, that good ideas speak for themselves.
Oh, I feel that. I really do. You think, I shouldn't have to perform this. The facts are the facts. The data is the data.
But in the real world, that rule book just goes out the window. In the professional world, delivery is just as important as the content. And if the delivery is flawed,
the content doesn't even get heard.
It never reaches the listener. It just gets filtered out.
It's like trying to serve a gourmet meal on a trash can lid. No one's going to eat it.
Exactly. So let's unpack this. We have 5 specific traps that the source material identifies. These are the things we do that just unintentionally sabotage our authority.
Yeah.
And the first one is a big one. It's called the delivery blind spot.
This sounds like exactly what we were just talking about, the whole school mindset.
It is. The delivery blind spot is when you focus 100% of your mental energy on the content, the words, the data, the accuracy.
And 0% on the delivery.
The performance. 0. This is the classic smart but boring trap.
Right.
But boring is almost too gentle a word, I think. The consequence is actually more severe when you speak in a flat, monotone voice because you're just so focused on getting the facts right. The listener's brain makes a subconscious assumption. They don't think, oh, this person is very focused. They think, this person doesn't actually believe in what they're saying.
That's a killer. If you don't sound like you believe it, why on earth should I?
Exactly.
The source material has a great comparison here that I love. It contrasts a brilliant but, monotone scientist with someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yes, that's a perfect example. Think about Tyson. He's an astrophysicist. The stuff he deals with is incredibly dense, complex math, physics.
Oh, black holes, yeah.
But when he talks about the cosmos, what do you see?
Oh, it's a show. His eyes are wide, his voice goes up and down, he's using his hands. You feel the wonder of it all.
Exactly. He isn't dumbing it down. He's performing the enthusiasm. He has the intellect, but he uses that energy and variety to make these complex ideas stick.
Whereas the other scientist, who might have the same IQ, just has this massive delivery blind spot.
Yeah.
They think the data is enough.
They do.
But I can hear someone listening right now thinking, okay, but I'm not Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm an accountant from Ohio. I can't just start waving my arms around and shouting about taxes.
Fair point. And the goal isn't to become some kind of caricature. The source suggests a simple mental shift, the 50-50 split. You have to consciously decide that half your focus goes to the words and the other half goes to the delivery. You cannot treat delivery as an afterthought.
And they break this down into a framework, right? The VVV.
Right. Vocal, visual, and verbal.
Okay, let's break those down. I think people need practical steps here.
Okay, so vocal is about pitch variation. Monotone kills authority. If you want to show excitement, your pitch goes up. If you want to land a really serious point, you drop your pitch down.
Just don't stay in the middle.
Never stay in the middle. Visual is about congruence. Does your face match your message? If you're talking about a thrilling opportunity, but you look like you're reading a grocery list,
The audience sees that disconnect immediately.
instantly. It's weird how we do that, though. We'll be saying, this is a total disaster with a completely blank face.
Because we're thinking about the words, not the feeling.
Exactly. And finally, verbal is about keeping the language simple, which we'll actually touch on more in a bit. But the core lesson here is, if you're fascinated, look fascinated. If you're serious, sound serious. Don't make the audience guess.
Love that. Okay, let's move to trap number 2. And I have to confess, reading through this is the one I am most guilty of. I do this all the time. It's called the imposter disclaimer.
This is a very, very common one, especially among high performers. It's the act of disqualifying yourself before you even start talking.
It's those little phrases, right? I'm not the best person to answer this, but, or this might be a stupid question.
I haven't thought this all the way through, but yes, it's verbal self-sabotage.
Why do we do this? Is it just low self-esteem?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know plenty of confident people who still do it.
It's more complex than just low confidence. The source points to a few psychological drivers. I mean, one is a desire to be humble. We're taught arrogance is bad, so we overcorrect.
I'm not a know-it-all.
Right. But another huge driver is protection. By lowering the bar by saying, this might be stupid, we're protecting ourselves.
Yeah.
If the idea turns out to be bad, well, hey, we warned you.
Right. You can't be disappointed because I already told you it might be bad. It's a defense mechanism.
It's preemptive armor, exactly. But here's the problem, and it's a big one. The audience takes you at your word. If you stand up and say, don't trust me, I'm not the expert, the audience's brain goes.
Okay, got it. Won't listen.
Okay, thanks for the heads up. I'm tuning out now. Wow. So we think we're being humble, but we're actually just instructing people to ignore us.
You're validating your own self-doubt. You're telling them exactly how to view you.
As unprepared or unqualified. Yeah.
So the fix here seems obvious, but also kind of scary. Just stop.
You have to cut the disclaimer entirely. Go cold turkey. Instead of, I'm probably wrong, but just say, here's my perspective.
Here's one idea we could explore.
Exactly. You have to own the contribution without the apology.
That feels risky, but I can see how it changes the energy completely. Here's my perspective. It's neutral. It's confident.
But it's not arrogant.
Not at all. It leaves room for discussion without pulling the rug out from under yourself.
Precisely. It invites discussion rather than asking for permission to speak.
All right, let's move on to trap number 3. This one is called the content shield. Sounds like something out of a superhero movie, but I have a feeling it's not a good thing.
No, not at all. The content shield is when we hide behind complexity. We use big words, heavy jargon, long, winding explanations as a form of armor.
Oh, I've seen this in corporate meetings a million times. The person who uses so many acronyms and buzzwords that everyone just nods along because they're too afraid to ask what a synergistic paradigm shift actually means.
That's the one. And again, let's look at the motivation. Why do smart people do this? It's often fear. Fear of being judged, fear of being asked a simple question they can't answer.
So they overcomplicate things.
They do. The logic is sort of, if I sound confusingly smart, no one will question me because they won't want to look dumb.
It's like a squid shooting ink to get away.
That's a perfect analogy. It's a defensive ink cloud. But the reality check here is just brutal. The source brings up that famous Einstein quote.
If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough.
There it is. Simplicity is actually the ultimate sign of mastery.
It is. When you use a content shield, people don't admire you. They just zone out.
They disengage. They don't lean in.
So how do we drop the shield? How do we resist that urge to sound fancy?
The fix is twofold. First, headline first. Say your main point in one clear, simple sentence immediately. Don't build up to it for 10 minutes.
Profits are down because shipping costs are up. Boom.
Exactly. Don't bury the lead. And the second part is the 1+1 rule. Use one sentence for the idea and one sentence to support or explain it, and then stop.
Stop. Just stop talking.
Stop Talking. Silence is confident. If they want more detail, they will ask for it. But don't drown them in information they didn't ask for just to prove you did your homework.
That stop part is hard. We hate silence. Which actually leads perfectly into trap number 4, because this trap is all about filling that silence.
Yeah.
It's called the microchecking loop.
This is a habit that drives listeners crazy, even if they can't put their finger on why. It's the habit of constantly asking for validation in the middle of your speech.
Give us some examples. What does this sound like?
It's ending your sentences with those little hooks, like, right? Does that make sense?
You know what I mean.
Yeah, all of them. So it's like, I think we should go with option B, right? Because the data shows it works, So it's the best path. Does that make sense?
Oof, yeah. Hearing it like that, the authority just drains away.
It's gone because you're shifting the emotional burden onto the listener. You're asking them to constantly reassure you. Yes, we hear you. Yes, you make sense.
It's needy. It feels like you're asking for permission to keep going.
It is. It signals you're seeking approval, not sharing knowledge. You look like you're scanning the room for agreement rather than just focusing on the message.
And you lose authority with every right.
And do.
So how do we break the loop? Because for a lot of people, those rights and you-knows are unconscious tics. We don't even know we're doing it.
The fix is physical and rhythmic. It's called pitch and pause. When you finish a statement, you consciously drop your pitch down.
So not we should do this, like a question.
But we should do this, period. Ending on a lower pitch signals authority and finality.
And then the pause.
Yes, and this is the hard part. You pause. You let the words land. Don't rush to check if they got it. If you genuinely want to check for understanding, do a delayed check.
What's that?
You wait until your full thought is finished, and then you ask a specific question like, is that clear? Or are there any questions on that part? But you don't do it mid-sentence.
That pause is powerful. It shows you're comfortable enough to just let the idea sit there. Okay, one more trap. And this one has the most dramatic name of all. Trap number 5, the disappearing spine syndrome.
This paints a vivid picture, doesn't it?
It sounds painful. What is it?
This is when a speaker starts an idea confidently. They have the floor, they have a point, but then they sense a tiny bit of resistance.
Like a raised eyebrow.
A raised eyebrow, someone looks confused, the boss shifts in their chair, and immediately the speaker's spine just vanishes. They abandon the idea.
You start backpedaling. Well, actually, never mind. Or it was just a thought, probably not a good one.
Exactly. And the tragedy here is that it's based on what the source calls the mind-reading error. We assume that the raised eyebrow means, I hate this idea and I hate you.
When really they might just be thinking hard, or hungry, or about to sneeze.
Exactly. We project our own insecurity onto their face. But the consequence is that people lose trust in someone who abandons their own thoughts halfway through. If you won't even fight for your idea,
Why should I buy into it? So how do we keep our spine intact when we see that look?
you have to commit. Finish the idea, even if the room is quiet. And there's a specific technique here called anchor and invite that balances that confidence with openness.
Okay, how does that work?
First, you anchor. You say, I believe this is the right direction because you state your case firmly. Then immediately after, you invite. You say, I'm open to your thoughts on this, or I'd love to hear other perspectives.
I see. So you're not being a bulldozer. You're saying, here's where I stand, but also I'm confident enough to hear if you disagree.
Exactly. It shows you can handle the feedback without collapsing before the feedback is even given. It transforms a potential confrontation into a consultation.
So let's just recap this gauntlet. We've got the delivery blind spot, the imposter disclaimer, the content shield, the microchecking loop, and the disappearing spine. That is a lot. And honestly, I feel a little called out. I think I did 3 of these just this morning.
And that is completely normal. The source material really emphasizes recovery and practice. We have to have grace with ourselves. These are deeply ingrained habits. We spend years, decades being conditioned to focus only on the answer, not the delivery. You can't rewire a lifetime of habit in one deep dive.
So where do we start? If someone's listening and thinking, okay, I need to fix this, what's step 1?
Step 1 is awareness. You can't fix what you can't see. The recommendation is to record yourself.
Oh, painful. I hate listening to my own voice.
It is painful. No one likes it. But record yourself in a meeting or even just a practice session. Listen for the rights. Listen for the, I'm not sure, but listen for the monotone. You have to identify your specific trap.
Just catching it is a win.
Exactly. That's the small wins strategy. If you're about to say, this is a stupid question, and you catch yourself and celebrate that, that's neuroplasticity in action. You're rewiring your brain.
And there's this idea of intentionality, too. Before you even walk into the room, ask yourself, how do I want this to land?
Yes. Don't just walk in and start talking. Set an intention. I want to sound calm and certain, or I want to sound excited and inviting. When you have an intention for the delivery, you're so much less likely to fall into the delivery blind spot.
And the beautiful thing the source mentions is this cycle of confidence. It's a positive feedback loop.
Right. It connects everything. When you fix these traps, let's say you stop microchecking, you start to speak more clearly.
Because you speak clearly, people listen. They don't interrupt.
And because they don't interrupt, you feel more respected, more confident. And because you feel more confident, you speak even better the next time. It spirals upward.
So let's bring this all home. The big takeaway here really is that credibility is 50% content and 50% delivery. You can have the cure for the common cold, but if you mumble it while looking at your shoes and asking, does that make sense?
No one's going to take the medicine. That is the harsh but empowering truth. You have control over the delivery. You aren't stuck with these habits.
So here's our challenge to you, the listener. Don't try to fix all 5 traps tomorrow. You'll freeze up. Pick just one. Maybe this week is no disclaimers week.
Or pause and pitch week.
Exactly. Just pick one and focus on it.
And as you do that, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. We spend so much energy trying to prove we belong in the room, scanning faces for approval, shielding ourselves with big words, apologizing for our own existence.
It's exhausting just thinking about it.
It is. But imagine if you stopped using all your mental energy for that defense. If we stopped scanning the room for validation, how much more mental space would we have to actually listen to others?
That's a powerful pivot.
It is. Perhaps true authority isn't about proving how smart you are. Perhaps true authority is having the security to stop performing so you can actually let others be smart too. When you're secure, you create space for everyone.
And that is a mic drop moment, if I've ever heard one. Thank you all for diving in with us today. Go out there, drop the shield, keep your spine, and we will see you on the next deep dive.
Take care, everyone.